One.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the M&M Podcast. This is our very first episode, our first annual. Um, these are your hosts, Cam and Max.
What's up?
We're going to just make it nice and sweet today, and we're going to talk about Stranger Things. So if you guys are ready to talk about
Yes.
Stranger Things, I am. Max, are you ready to talk about Stranger Things?
Yes, sir. Just so you guys know, I would assume a majority of you guys have seen it, but if you haven't, spoiler warning. If you have not seen it, we are gonna be getting into spoilers, so I would go watch that before you finish watching this episode.
Yeah, definitely going to be spoilers. This is not the place you want to go if you have not seen Stranger Things yet. And a lot of other things. We probably will give a lot of spoilers in different episodes as well. Um, Max, let's talk
Yeah.
about it, man. Stranger Things season 5, volume 1, volume 2. I want to know just overall, just to start it off, like as a general, what are your thoughts on season 2? How does it compare to other seasons? And
Season
are
5.
you excited for finale? Yeah.
Uh, Two, as you guys know, just came out. Um, but season 5, I honestly think probably is the worst season. I don't even care about the
Depends.
IMDb ratings or anything like that. I do think it's probably I won't even want to say the worst, least best.
I guess.
There,
Yeah.
it just there's a lot. There's so many things. Like the first volume, I actually enjoyed a lot. I know some people were kind of crapping on it a little bit, but it's in my opinion, volume one's way better than volume
I
two.
completely agree.
Uh, we can get into that in a little bit, but like especially season 5 episode 4, which is like one of the best, probably the best episode in Stranger Things. I really liked it, and I had high hopes for the start, but honestly by each episode my hopes are kind of getting lower and lower and lower. um but I still have high hopes for the finale. I think it's going to be a great thing. I don't think it's going to necessarily kill the show by any means. um but I mean, yeah. uh Mahler, what are your thoughts on this season so far?
Yeah. My thoughts are mixed, and the reason I say that is because there's so many things that have gone on that make me like, oh my gosh, yay. And then there's so many things going on that it's like, holy crap, Duffer Brothers, what the hell are you doing? And I'm trying to figure out which ones outweigh which ones, um, because it just like it's kind of what you're saying. Like it got to a point where literally, it just like slowly just got worse for me. I think if I'm gonna talk about a high point, I think the best parts of season 5 was episodes 3 and 4. Episode 3 was, I think, is a little underrated. I love it, especially at the end of the episode. Um, for the most part, there are some things that kind of get a little wonky there. With 11, she's just kind of arguably selling the entire thing by doing what she wants. Um, but Hopper kept her in check, and they were still able to work together, which was cool. My favorite part was Max at the end. It was about time. I mean, gosh damn, it's been 2 years, and quite literally, we haven't even seen hardly anything of Sadie Sink in 2 years, with actually participating in Stranger Things and doing things. So that was cool to see her back. Season episode 4, absolutely zero complaints about. I think the IMDb rating should be higher on that. Um, it is obviously still a great rating. I think it's a high eights, maybe it. I don't think it's in the nines, but I think it's in the high eights. Um, it should be higher than that. It was my favorite episode ever in Stranger Things. Um, but once Volume 2 came out, it kind of just mixed me up, and now I'm like, what are we doing here? It's like, what on God's beautiful earth did the Duffer oh my gosh, did the Duffer Brothers smoke on? Like, what did they consume?
Yeah.
Because there is so many things that we're about to get into, um, that just make no sense. at all. And if anything, it just makes it more confusing. I love a good show where it makes my brain think, but when all I'm trying to do is figure out a gosh damn maze puzzle with four different subplots, it's like what are we doing here? Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm mixed about it. It's definitely I think every part of Stranger Things is good when it comes to the seasons. I just think that's the weakest one. Same kind of the
Yeah.
same thing.
When watching it, I will say let's get into some of the negatives first. Um, I would say mainly this is in both volumes. I think in season 5 the dialogue's just kind of trash overall. Mainly in volume 2 though. Um, I I can't tell you like how many scenes they have, especially in volume 2 in like this episode 7 for example. How many scenes there are of like, okay, how are we gonna see and affect this mind flare? Oh my gosh, we don't know where the mind flare is this whole time,
Yeah,
but
exactly, dude.
now we do. The mind flare is controlling Vecna. Like
Bro,
that, it
it's
could
so
actually
annoying.
be a scene in the finale.
Yeah, not to
And I
mention that all the dialogue is just quite literally
so
about
corny.
like no, but like not only that, but all it is like 90% of the characters we care about, it's like only planning things, and then when they plan things, half the crew just thinks it's a horrible plan, and then the other half, and even if they think it's a bad plan, they just end up doing it anyway. They literally end up doing it anyway. So I don't know why they argue in the first place. And there's just like, yeah, like you said, the dialogue is just rancid. It's horrible.
Especially
Especially,
in like volume 1 where it's the like
bro,
the dead jokes, bro.
bro.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, Robin's getting way too comfortable, man. Robin needs to chill the
Oh
hell
my
out.
gosh, bro, that joke with Steve
That was
when they're sitting
crazy.
around like, Steve hears it all the time, but he still goes in, don't you,
That's
Steve? And
nuts,
then he's
bro.
like, dude, what the hell is wrong?
That is nuts, bro. What are
That,
we
I was
what are we
like,
doing? And how does that what is that like I understand like trying to sneak in cheeky little funny lines here and there, but like I'm gonna be honest, that's just not Robin's thing. I mean, that's just not her, man. And especially the things with Vicky, that was so unnecessary with everything that we were trying to figure out right now in season 5. That whole thing just like pissed me off to like an extreme extent because oh my gosh, we are trying to figure out basically the fate of Hawkins, and here we are about worrying about a gosh damn date in the
not even
hospital.
that. Yeah,
It's like, dude,
that, Will's coming out scene for like the last 20 minutes when we're about to go fight freaking an apocalypse to save the world. Like,
yeah, I didn't like that it was going on, but I think
yeah,
I I kind of heard a few people on here on social media talk about it, and I kind of agree with them when they were like, I think if somebody was coming out, I think that would be exactly how it would be done. Like, um, a lot of people say he didn't act well in that part. I think he did to be like when it comes to coming out. Um, I just I just think it was a wrong time.
I will say Noah Schnapp, the actor that plays Will, he is a really good actor, but there's sometimes where I question it. But honestly, I feel like if we go and watch through every episode of season 5, there's at least 2 scenes per every episode where Will's about to cry or does cry.
Yeah,
And it's like I get that like there's a lot of emotional scenes in
it's
this, but bro, you
sad,
do
but
not
like,
need to be crying every 20 minutes. You just don't.
well, like,
Like
okay, no offense, but like, not even the girls are doing it that much, bro.
no,
Not
none
even
of
the
them.
girls, bro.
Like maybe Robin once when she was saying that like story about Tammy, but like that was it.
Yeah. Okay.
And at the gay scene.
Okay. So I think we know our thoughts on Stranger Things, season 5, let alone volume 2. Um, okay. I do have a series of questions for you about this.
Okay.
Okay, so my first question, which I feel strongly one way or the other about, what are your thoughts on Holly Wheeler in season 5?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like because I kind of thought she was annoying a little bit. I don't know. I kind of liked her, and especially in Volume 2. Bro, that one scene when she woke up and the kids are trying to convince her, and she just like clocks one with the freaking radio. Like
Uh,
that scene I like that scene. That was
well,
fire.
that was like her peak, in my opinion.
Yeah. But I will say, I only want to talk about this briefly, but the Max and Holly having a podcast and the upside, like when they're so close to escaping for like 20 minutes, kind of, not kind of, it really annoyed me.
Yeah,
Um,
no, yeah, that was horrible.
yeah, that was trash. But I mean, like besides that, like becoming Holly the heroic, trying to escape, Dimension X to go back to that was. I think she's growing on me. I kind of like her. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely disagree. Um,
Really.
yeah, the shadow of a doubt. I absolutely despise Holly Wheeler as a character. I think she's horrible. I think she's a bad actress for her age. Even for her age, I think she's a bad actress. I think the way that they brought her in was atrocious. I think the Duffer Brothers um, just took the L huge on that one. Um, I just don't like what they're doing at all. I don't know what they were thinking with Holly Wheeler, um, and I just think like I kind of wrote down like how they played her and they involved her in way too big of a role, way too late.
I do agree. They
With
should have introduced her, not introduced her because we already knew her, but should have made her more of a kind of a side-ish character in the earlier,
Well,
like
they didn't
season
give us enough
4.
time for her to build a connection with everybody.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's like, dude, what the hell do you expect? If she dies, she dies. I don't give a damn.
yeah.
Because I
She did
don't.
just kind of spawn in at the beginning of season 5
If she dies,
as a main
if she
character.
dies, she dies. And not to mention, literally, all these characters that have built huge, just kind of like obviously not literal bonds with, but all these characters that I've connected with through 5 seasons are now getting less screen time and
Oh
overplayed
my
by
gosh.
Holly Wheeler. And it's like,
That
dude,
is that
that's
is one thing that I will agree with you on is that they are overshadowing they're overshadowing 11, they're overshadowing Mike, and they were literally are supposed to be the main characters since like season 1,
yeah.
and they're overshadowed by Holly. That I will say that does really annoy me.
Well, what that also does is it just degrades the original characters,
Yeah.
and if it does anything, it makes me feel less hurt if something were to happen to them because now I have to learn to like somebody else, which I'm just not going to do, Duffer Brothers. I'm just going to let you know I'm not doing it. I don't like Holly
Yeah.
Wheeler. Along with a big part of people on the internet, I've just been seeing TikTok after reel where everyone's just like, oh my gosh, what the hell's going on? And um, honestly, I couldn't care less if Vecna completely obliterates her and decimates her into a million shreds or not. Because I don't care about her.
Yeah.
I haven't had time to. Um, and I get it.
Yeah.
Like I know, like oh my gosh, a kid, it's stuck. A little kid is stuck that can't get out, needs help. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I only care about that to an extent. And if I'm being honest with you, that is like nowhere near the biggest thing that has happened in this crazy show out of everything that's happened in this show. I mean, you nothing genuinely bad other than being like stuck has really even happened to Holly yet. Vecna's not doing anything to crazily like just hurt her. She's not been severely injured. She's lost, yes, which sucks. But you know how much worse stuff has happened to like literally every other character, and like I said, she has way too big of a role, way too late into the show. Why is it that this whole time it's been all the main cast, all these problems, they're gonna stick through it together to the day they die, to the wheels fall off, and then now, oh boom, Holly Wheeler, bang, she's the main everything, and now we all got to focus our attention on Miss Holly Wheeler, that's 10 years old, and I just don't care. I don't care, and that's just where I'm at. Like,
No,
I don't know.
I will say, yeah, I as a character, I think I would like her a lot better if she was more of a side character in season 4. But regardless, I still think, um, if she wasn't I feel like the fact
I agree
that
with that.
other characters are overshadowing Holly, or Holly is basically being like one of the main characters now. It kind of it wouldn't upset me as much if she had equally as much time as like Eleven or Mike. If they were giving everyone equal screen time, I think Holly, I would like her way
Yeah,
better.
100%.
But
That's the
that
whole
point you
reason.
made definitely made me, yeah, dislike Holly
What's
more.
the whole damn reason?
Um,
It's literally
yeah,
that literally make or breaks Holly. And
and
yeah, what's up?
I was just gonna go into a question I had for you. One of my major complaints about season 5 so far is that they haven't killed anybody
Oh
off.
my gosh.
And um so my question to you is, what do you think is gonna happen going into the finale of like who is gonna die, or if you think
Dude,
anyone's even gonna die?
dude, that literally was my question. That was my next question.
Really?
Yeah, my question was if anybody's gonna die, who isn't, and what is your reasoning as to why you think they would die over anybody else? That's my question. All right, I'm glad you asked me, and I have
Yeah.
answers. I have three. I know we talked about it the other day when we watched it together, but I think this is what I think before I may add. I'm gonna add that I think that anybody has potentiality of dying except maybe Hopper. In my eyes. Okay, I know I was big on Hopper. I think he's gonna sacrifice himself, but you made a good point. I think season 3 he'd be gone, long gone by now, and I think that he does mean so much to 11, and 11 does need him on this earth. Um, so that being said, I've narrowed it down to 2/3 people. I either have
Mhm.
Will Byers,
Makes sense.
Dustin, or Steve, or Dustin and Steve. And the way I worded that, I think you know why. But let's dive into Will. But first off, I want to hear your answers. Or do you have one?
Yeah, I do. Mine mainly would be Will. I think
Yeah,
Robin is
this
gonna
makes
die
sense.
just because I don't feel like they have anything. She's there's nothing where I think they need to keep her for, so I think they can get rid of her.
Okay.
Um, for like a more side, I think Callie is gonna die, or I think I probably
I
just want her to
no.
die
How
because she's
about
been
I
so
hope?
annoying.
I hope she's
Yeah,
gonna die.
yeah, I get her the hell out of here, dude. Oh my gosh.
My gosh,
Um,
waste of time.
and
Completely
I would
irrelevant.
say sadly probably Dustin or Steve. More likely to Dustin
Dustin,
than like
yeah, for sure. I agree.
I don't
Um,
want to.
my reason it goes to show of why they think they're gonna die because you got to think of this. Okay, I think everybody can die somehow, some way, and everybody that we named, we've somehow created a connection of how they can die. But you got to think of which one makes the most sense. And I think what makes the most sense is Will Byers because, well, Will Byers is connected to Vecna. Okay, if they kill Vecna, or first of all, Will's powers are through Vecna. And what really is selling me is every time a Demogorgon would get hurt or burn, he would feel it. Literally every season, he would feel it. He would burn. He would be in pain somehow, some way, and that's created to Vecna or connected to Vecna somehow. So, I think if Vecna dies, which I sure as hell hope he dies, if Vecna dies, Will's dead. That's what I think. If anybody's gonna die, it's gonna be Will. And I think you know where I'm going with this. Dustin and Steve, I think they're gonna die. Or I think they're one of the most likely to die. Unfortunately, and my favorite characters, of course, and along with most of other people. But I think Dustin's gonna die. And that would obviously for the girls that think he's so hot, it would be worse for them. But for the actual cast, it makes more sense, and it would hit harder if Dustin died than Steve, in my eyes. But you know the famous line between them two: "If you die, I die." That being said, I think they might actually live that out, dude. They might.
Yeah.
And honestly, because then if Steve dies, I mean, what more does Dustin want to live for other than I guess his friends? But and especially if Will dies, like what more is Dustin gonna want to live for in the show? I think he's just gonna kill himself. Like I think he's gonna want to die. Eddie, because Eddie's gone, and
Yeah.
he loved Eddie, and that's all that he cared about. So I think he's gonna do this. I think he's gonna go. I think they're gonna. Bleh. I think they're gonna go down swinging, and I think they're gonna go together.
Sadly, I think you're right. But yeah, and I will say, because the reason this was one of my main complaints is I knew inside of until the finale is not only do they have to cram because apparently there's going to be 6 major deaths. Not only do they have to cram 6 major deaths into the finale, but like it's just like, dude, like when I watched episode 2 for the first time and seeing Ted Wheeler and Karen Wheeler get packed up by a Demogorgon, and I was just like,
Yeah,
oh, this
box,
season's gonna be absolutely crazy. But then not only did both of them survive, but every character that's been introduced since season 1 has stayed alive except for Billy, Barb, Bob, um and Eddie.
All
Ev-
irrelevance other than Eddie.
every other person, main character, has stayed alive. And
Yeah.
so I'm like when Steven, or not Steve, when Jonathan and Nancy were in that room, I think either both or at least
Oh
one
my
of them should have
gosh.
died. I
Should
think
have
Jonathan
died,
should
bro.
have died saving Nancy's life,
I
and then they both.
I'll go down. I'll go down. I'm dying on that hill, dude. I think they should have went out together. I don't even care.
Mhm.
And
I would have been fine with that.
um, and I'm not. I think Nancy Wheeler has grown on me, especially because of season 4 and season 5. I think she's shown an underrated character arc and character development. But again, she is the
Walking down
reason.
Willow.
Walking down Wheeler, that's damn right. But um, I mean, I think Steve and Jonathan would just be better off single, both of them.
Nancy doesn't deserve him.
Not even a little bit. And I get a lot of backlash for the Jonathan like. I stand with Justin. I know you don't feel strongly about Justin. I mean,
Who's
Jonathan,
Justin, bro?
the Jonathan. I'm on the Jonathan train. I know you don't feel as strong about Jonathan, but I'm on the Jonathan train until the wheels fall off. Because I don't know, dude. Everyone calls him a stick in the mud. They don't like him. He's like weird, but me, dude, like that's what makes him cool. He's different. He's weird. He's different.
But also, I liked him a lot up until season 4 when they just made him a stoner and like
That's
every
not his fault,
decision he
though.
made, every decision he, I mean, it was his choice.
I mean,
Like
yeah,
every
but
decision he made though, I just like didn't like the fact that he
of course,
is not going to college with Nancy to stay close to home. I think that was stupid.
that was dumb. And ever since season 4 started, ever since the backwoods and weed barrels hit his mouth, and the marijuana got right in his system, that made me forcefully dislike him. I had to, because it's like now you're just a no life piece of crap that's just not helping anybody until the end of season 4, which kind of got a little bit better. But
Yeah.
like yeah, I see what you're saying, but I feel so bad. That's just like the Duffer Brothers and the producers and the directors, they just I think they just sucked and was very very poor, and I think they just completely gave up on Jonathan. And I think a lot of it was because everybody so much more preferred Steve, and and like not even that they so much more preferred Steve, but even like he's just honestly I think a bunch of it is also like attractiveness, dude. I'm not even kidding. Like everybody else like
Valid
thinks
point.
Steve is 1,000 times more attractive than Jonathan.
Or
So
even Nancy admitted it in the freaking when they were about to
that
die.
was so crazy. Man,
That was crazy.
hey
bro.
man, that
He
was
was
like the nail in
phased.
the coffin for Nancy Wheeler. I'm like right after that, I watched. I'm like, bro, just kill her, bro. Just kill her. That should be your last. That should be your last.
Only
One.
thing she's good for is freaking. She kind of has aura.
Yeah,
But like that's.
but so they I think I love a show that listens to their fans, but I think you gotta have a give and take, and you gotta have feel. I think you can't listen to everything the fans say, because then it's just like predictable. But then also like if you just completely neglect what the fans say, nobody's gonna like what you're putting out. So you gotta listen to an extent. But I think literally they just like buffed Steve, which is fine. I love Steve as my favorite character, but Jonathan took the wrath for that, and because of that, partially. And he was just so overlooked anyway, just because Steve was just simply a character. And Yeah, I just feel bad for Jonathan. I think they scripted him poorly and horribly in season 4,
Yeah.
and that just ruined him. So
No, I can see that. Yeah. And I would say this is my final question for you, Kim. So going into the finale, last ever episode of Stranger Things, do you think that this is going to save the season, or do you think it's going to save the series, or do you think it's going to be a complete mess like Game of Thrones?
I think,
Is this thing on, or
yeah, no, I heard you. I think, um, see, I'm also mixed with this too, because um, you gotta think, how are they gonna save the progressively worse volume 2 from its already collapsing disaster? Um, in my eyes, it's just like, um, I mean, the episode's gonna have to be very long, which we know it's not because they posted the runtime. It's not as long as season 4 finale, but
yeah,
what I do know is that I think if it's true that they're gonna kill off 6 people, I think the last scene's gonna be really sad. But I don't like the idea that there's gonna be 6 people dying in the same episode, because
yeah,
you guys had 5 seasons to stretch it out and to lengthen it out and for it to make more sense in the plot line. But instead, you want to just kill everybody off and leave a couple people, so now everybody's upset at one time. Um, and the cast is it's a big cast, it's a big main cast, but 6 people even out of a big main cast is a lot of freaking people. So,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that means somebody good is simply dead. Somebody
yeah,
good is dead. Um, I think I'm very confused. I think if the Duffer brothers are being truthful about that most theories are wrong, I think it can be cool because I want to see how this is gonna play out. Yes. I want to see if the Mind Flayer is connected to this, and if so, he's gonna have to get a lot of time in the last episode. He's gonna have to get a lot of time because he hasn't had any in season 5 hardly, or if at all. Um,
yeah,
so there's a lot. There's a lot. You know what this is giving me vibes of right now? This is giving me really really big Avengers Doomsday vibes. This is what it's really giving me.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's given me a lot of okay. Um, there's a lot that you guys have to do that was promised, and we don't know how in tarnation you're gonna do it.
yeah.
Simply put. So
But if you do it well,
if you
it
do it well,
could be the greatest episode in the entire
ever.
show, and if you do it poorly, it could ruin the entire show as a whole.
Absolutely, and it's just like again, if Doomsday, if you make this, if this is a hit, you might have saved Marvel. If this isn't, uh, everybody's right, and in my opinion, MCU died with RDJ. So, um,
Nailed the coffin.
yeah. So let's just go with I'm gonna have faith in the Duffer Brothers because they've shown out and showed up for 4.5 seasons. So I'm gonna trust them for one more. That's where I'm going. What about you?
Um, I honestly think I think it's gonna be really good, and I'm gonna keep my
Okay, that's good.
high hopes up. I do think a lot of the people, as much as they hate on episode 7, you also have to realize that the whole point of episode 7 was setting up the finale. So I think now going into the finale, like that's what pretty much it was all about, coming with the plan and all that. So I think going into the finale, like this is it. Like this is gonna be the do or die. This is gonna be the big whole shebang. So yeah, I have high hopes. I think it'll be really good, but you never know because they're Duffer Brothers did kind of screw a lot of stuff up. There's a lot of plot holes. And as much as they said like the upside down is going to be answered, I think it honestly left me with even more questions than answers.
Mm. Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah.
That's what.
I think everything you said there was a hit. I think that's a great point, and I think I'll even partially, actually, mostly agree with you there. Um, but if there's one thing that I do know, I'm gonna say this, and this is my literal last point. Um, if by the end of this show, 8 is not dead, I will never watch another episode of Stranger Things again. Good night, everybody.
It's the last one, anyways. But
No, I'm saying I'll never rewatch it. Uh, Guys, this is the M&M Podcast. This is our very first episode, so please show support, show love. Go ahead and give us a follow on TikTok, subscribe to our YouTube, and follow our Spotify. Thank you guys so much just for tuning along with us, and we can't wait to see you in our next episode.
so, yeah.